Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be a money making method. It is still working as of update 1.20, but just please note that this was filmed the day before the 120 patch, so this is running on 1.19. The tune has changed a little bit, but it actually has changed for the better, because you will be able to reduce some of the ballast and some of the power restrictor and such. So you'll be able to get a bit more power out of this Porsche, so it should actually increase your lap times, not decrease it. So just so you're all aware, it's actually the Clubsport we're going to be using. So on the far right, you can see the normal RS. So just make sure it's got the little CS, and that is going to be the car we're going to be using. So I'll go through my upgrades and tune. So we're going to be running this classic PlayStation livery. Now I actually recommend going and grabbing this livery purely because it'll put all the visual mods you need. And if you've been around Gran Turismo 7 for a while, you'll know that some of the visual mods that get put on cars, such as like aero and such, do actually affect how the tune comes out. So just be sure to go and grab this livery. I'll show you the creator that you're looking for, and then yeah, you should be pretty much good to go in terms of aero parts, but I will still go through them. So you're looking out for the one by Horn Grodis. So go ahead, go look for his livery, pick it up. It's the PlayStation 1 for the Club Sport, not the standard RS model. Okay, so in terms of what we've kind of modified with the car, we've put a wide body on. Obviously, it gives it a nice wide look. This is actually the one that I used in the review. However, it's tuned up a bit. So make sure you put the wide body on, and then we'll go ahead and look in the wheels section to see what wheels I am running. If you have the livery, the offset and that will all be set as it is, so don't go and change your wheels, but it's the BBS RGF wheels that we are using. So go ahead and just ensure that you've got them on when you put the livery on. It's type A front aero that we're going to need, so make sure you've got the custom front part. Side, again, it's type A. At the rear, again, type A. And then at the wing, we've got type B, which is sort of the big, race looking wing from, way back when. So make sure you put those on. Okay, so in terms of performance mods from the sports category, this is what you're going to run. You're going to run weight reduction stage 1, and the sports hard tyres, they will come on the car as standard, so just ignore them. You don't need to put them on. From Club Sports, you need weight reduction stage 2, so ensure you've gone and put that on. It is a bit of a permanent mod, so just be aware of that. You also need power restrictor and ballast. From semi-racing, you want racing crankshaft, fully customizable computer, fully customizable LSD, and weight reduction stage 3. From racing, it's stroke up, engine balance tuning, and polished ports, racing air filter, racing silencer, racing exhaust manifold, racing brake pads, racing brake kit slotted, fully customizable suspension, racing clutch and flywheel, racing transmission, and racing hard tyres. Also pick yourself a pair of inters and heavy wets. So here's the tune. So it shouldn't need too much in the way of kind of meddling with. Like I said, yours will actually be lower than this, so feel free to remove some of the ballast and such. I believe mine's around like 683. So you've got the standard tyres, like I've said, fully customizable suspension. So the body height, you want 75 at the front, 80 at the rear. Anti-roll bar is 4 front, 4 rear. Compression 30 and 30. Expansion is 35, 35. Natural frequency 2.30 and 2.50. Negative camber angle 0.5, 1.5. Toe angle 0.10 outwards and 0.29 inwards. Fully customizable LSD, you want that on. I've basically just left mine at 7, 25 and 35. In terms of transmission, you want to set it to 330. You don't need individual adjustments. Ensure you've got the racing transmission. Power restrictor 98, minus 50 ballast positioning, 31 ballast, 95 on the output adjustment with the fully customizable ECU. Downforce is 80 at the front and 307 at the rear. In terms of these mods, it's racing air cleaner, racing silencer, racing exhaust manifold, racing slotted discs, racing pads, and then on the permanent side we have all of those, but you also want to make sure you've got the racing clutch and flywheel. So it's stroke up, balance tuning, polished ports, crankshaft, and then weight reduction stage 1, 2 and 3. In terms of event we're going to be using, we're going to head over into Europe. And if you haven't guessed already, it's going to be the 24 Hour of Le Mans, and it's the World Touring Car 700. So that's more for new players, just to point out where it is. So in terms of running the strategy, it's pretty straightforward. You want to set your fuel mix at 6. I would recommend running about 1 on the traction control. That's because it can be a little bit twitchy at the rear end, but it does kind of give you an insane amount of grip. So the main thing I wanted to do with this build was basically keep the, I guess, speed and acceleration side of things on par with the Group 4s, but then, you know, have that insane aero functioning more like a Group 3 car. So you're going to find that pace-wise, you're going to be pretty much on par as if you was using a Group 4, especially when it's running at fuel mix 6. If you turn it up, it will go quite a bit quicker. However, fuel consumption is a lot higher at that point. So you'll notice when you go around the corners, you can really sort of, you know, throw it in there. It takes some getting used to because it's a little bit twitchy. Obviously, it's got that typical Porsche handling, but it really will actually benefit you when it comes to basically just throwing it into a corner. So as you can see here, in terms of pace, we're pretty much on par. I do recommend turning the AI to easy. You know, when we're grinding money, it's the most straightforward thing to do. As of 1.20, you know, things such as tie wear and sort of damage is much kind of greater than it was in this run here on 1.19. So just be careful when you're overtaking, and also just keep an eye on the tires. We are obviously running the racing hard, so it shouldn't be too much of a big deal when it comes to tyre deg, but just kind of change them on your pit stop, you know, when you're going into your pit windows. Just change them at that point if you feel the need to. Personally, I don't really have a problem with tyre degradation even now. So coming towards the sort of second straight, I guess, so you've come off the big one and you're going to come into this sort of mini one that sort of curves around. We're again just going to run in the slipstream, and it's going to allow us to get straight on the back of as many cars, many of these 3 cars as possible. We're going to overtake the Suzuki, get on the inside of the Viper, basically going to make a little bit of contact there, but then we're pretty much straight onto the back of the Corvette. So we're going to make most of our time up on these cars, mainly in the corners, because when it comes to straight line speed, we're not kind of overpowered in that way, but in terms of sort of downforce and being able to carry that speed through, it's pretty damn fast, especially in the first and last sectors of this track. You will find that you will really start pulling away from the AI at that point. Like, the downforce on these Group 4 cars isn't nearly as much as the downforce we are running on this Porsche. So as you can see, we're pretty easily into the lead, and then at this point we're just going to stretch our legs as we go into a strong point for the car. So what I recommend doing is on lap 2 is to start monitoring the weather radar. Now, Gran Turismo, or Polyphony, whatever you want to say, has actually gone ahead and patched the glitch. So your weather radar should be pretty much perfect again at telling you when the weather's coming in and such. So you shouldn't run into any issues in terms of, you know, in terms of tracking the weather. So as you can see, at the midpoint, kind of halfway point of lap 2, I actually saw the rain coming. Now, it wasn't really coming straight towards me. It sort of moved at a really strange angle, which you're going to see. So it kind of threw me off. I was thinking, right, what do I do about pitting? You know, when do I pit? You know, is this going to cause me to pit? And to be honest, at that point, you really do want the rain to get you. So as you can see, it's almost just skimming the edge of the track. Part of it is going over, but it never really properly rained. So yeah, a bit gutted there, because you're pretty much guaranteed a win if the AI gets caught in the wet. So yeah, sadly we couldn't take advantage of that. So we're going to keep running as dry on the 3rd lap, and then we are going to go ahead and take our first pit stop at the end of lap 3. So we've got a bit of a downpour coming here, so it's not much, and again you can see where it's just sort of skimming across, and it's obviously started to wet the track, but not to the point where we need to go onto inters. So yeah, just keep on pushing, and we'll go ahead and pit at the end of lap 3. Okay, so I've had a pretty dry run at this point, and what I'm going to do is I'm not actually going to change the tyres, because these hard tyres are pretty much hanging in. I'm unsure what it's going to really be like in 1.20 for this car, but it should still be okay. So I'm just going to speed it up. We're not going to change the tyres, and we're basically just going to take a full tank of fuel and try and run another few laps. However, the strategy that we were going to run didn't work too well, and that is purely because we got caught out with the rain. So as you can see, we've left the car at fuel mix 6 and away we go again as the rest of the AI decide to pit. So at this point, I was going to try and sort of do another lap because the fuel tank will last around about 3 laps or just over, but it'll basically cause you to pit every 3 laps. However, the rain decided to come down well and truly, so I actually put inters on just to try and get me around another couple of laps at most. And obviously, I'm going to refuel the car back to full so I can just try and burn as much of that fuel off as I can and probably run the car in a higher engine mode on the last lap or so. So away we go again, keeping the fuel at mix 6. As you can see, the track dried up pretty quickly. We've got a bit of fuel left, so all I'm going to do at this point is basically get myself across the line as quickly as I can. Sadly, we had to do an extra lap because of the timing of the rain. There was just pretty much not enough time to sit and wait due to the AI bunching back up with pit stops and such. However, we've come across the line with a 2-minute lead, so not too bad. Pretty straightforward race, even with that downpour towards the end. So we did it in total in a 31:52.485 with a fastest lap of 4:18.555 on lap 7. So that's still running in pretty damp conditions. So I'm pretty happy with that. Obviously, we've got to run the max engine mode at the end there. And as you're going to see, it's a Le Mans event, so it's going to pay 825k in around about 30 minutes. So not bad at all. So there we go, we have another method that is working as of 1.20. So I just want to take the time to shout out some channel members. So we've got Mr. Wilmot, Vincent and Ticketbait. They are our 3 channel members so far. So it's awesome to see the support that you guys give. And if you want to become a channel member, it should basically just say it in the channel somewhere, so keep an eye out for that. Or basically, any kind of profit I get from that goes back into the channel to help improve content. Donation links are in the description down below. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I cannot thank you enough so much for the support that you give me each and every video. So it's pretty nice to bring back money, guides. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers guys, peace.